welcome back. Yay, Unit 6. What is ecotourism? Today we're gonna go over our reading part. That is exciting. Yes. First up, what's the focus on the topic? One, more and more people are traveling to Antarctica. What do you think they want to go there? Why would people want to go to Antarctica? I would like you to look at the picture first. Oh, ha. You see that ice in the snow. Okay, super, super cold. Would you want to go there? I would. Why would people want to go there though? Or why would you want to go there? See, that's the question for today. Another question for today is, what is ecotourism? What do ecology and tourism have in common? Number 3, describe a place that you have visited that had lots of natural beauty, like trees, mountains, an ocean, and so on. Kind of like Bali, only we don't have snow. Have visitors damaged or harmed this place in any way? Just think about Bali then. Do you think that the tourists that come to Bali in a way harm our nature here in Bali or in other places of the world? Okay, I'd like you to write your ideas, as in your opinion, about these 3 questions. Just, you can do it here in your book on the empty spots, or you can just put it on a piece of paper, whatever. Write down your view on these 3 points, so next time when we meet, you can share it with me, because I would love to talk about that. Awesome. So, reading 1. Tourists in a fragile land. Do you consider Bali to be fragile or not? Okay, Bali is a bit fragile right now, right? In this time of a pandemic, I think Bali was always very strong, but in a pandemic with not having that many tourists, Bali has become more fragile. But we believe that that will change. Okay, we're going to start with the vocabulary. Study the words and definitions. We've got coastal, consequence, fragile, harsh, inhabit, landscape, preserve, remote, research, tourist, and vast, and the definitions that go with it. Awesome means. I'd like you to read that, and just, if you have any questions, you can ask me in our next lesson. How much do you know about Antarctica? Take this quiz just for fun. Circle the answer you think best. Pay special attention to the bold-faced words. How many is the percentage? About how many percent of Antarctica's vast land is covered with ice? While Antarctica's landscape appears cold and snowy, the land of Antarctica is actually... And 3, the coldest temperature of the harsh Arctic winter is approximately how much below 0? Okay, try to answer that. That's number 3. Now go to 4. We've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And that is just what you think it is, but in this case, we're working with the bold-faced words in context of a sentence. Go ahead, pause your video, and try to answer numbers 1 till 10. Great. That brings us to the preview for our text today. Yeah, we know the previewing is a very important part. It's a reading strategy where we kind of predict on the type of text and the topic, which then gives us a focus, meaning for us to know what to read for. A very active and an active reading style. So really knowing what to read for and noting it down. Read the first paragraph of an opinion essay about tourism in Antarctica, written by a scientist who works there. Predict reasons why the scientist says, I feel Antarctica should be closed to tourism. Write your ideas on the lines. So, first paragraph. Let's look at the first paragraph. Okay. As a scientist working in Antarctica, I spent most of my time in the lab studying ice. I'm trying to find out the age of the Arctic ice. All we know for certain is that it is the oldest ice in the world. The more we understand it, the more we will understand the changing weather of the Earth. Today, as with an increasing number of days, I had to leave my work to greet a group of tourists who were taking a vacation in this continent of ice. And even though I can appreciate their desire to experience this vast and beautiful landscape, I feel Antarctica should be closed to tourism. Okay, now I'd like you to write down what your predictor reasons are why the scientist says these things. Why do you think? Okay, pause your video to write it down. Great, that brings us to something we always do, which is skimming. So good. So we already read the introductory paragraph. We go to the topic sentence of every paragraph and the concluding paragraph. Because Antarctica is a center of important scientific research, it must be preserved for this purpose. Tourists in Antarctica can damage scientific research and hurt the environment. The need to protect Antarctica from tourists becomes even greater when we consider the fact that there is no government here. If we don't protect Antarctica from tourism, there may be serious consequences for all of us. Yeah. We cannot allow tourism to bring possible danger to the planet. The only way to protect this fragile and important part of the planet is to stop tourists from traveling to Antarctica. Okay, basically by having done skimming, you can already pinpoint the main idea of a text, yeah? And from looking at the title, Tourists in a Fragile Land, and looking at the pictures, we kind of already can see that, okay, it's about Antarctica. And then we already know, because it's actually given away already, that the type of text here is an opinion essay. Meaning that they will state an opinion and give reasons for that opinion. Okay, very good. Okay, so you're going to listen and read along, and please take notes while you do. So annotate the text, or in this case, take notes. Let's go.
Tourists in a fragile land. As a scientist working in Antarctica, I spend most of my time in the lab studying ice. I am trying to find out the age of Antarctic ice. All we know for certain is that it is the oldest ice in the world. The more we understand it, the more we will understand the changing weather of the Earth. Today, as with an increasing number of days, I had to leave my work to greet a group of tourists who were taking a vacation in this continent of ice. And even though I can appreciate their desire to experience this vast and beautiful landscape, I feel Antarctica should be closed to tourists. Because Antarctica is the center of important scientific research, it must be preserved for this purpose. Meteorologists are now looking at the effects of the ozone hole that was discovered above Antarctica in 1984. They are also trying to understand global warming. If the Earth's temperature continues to increase, the health and safety of every living thing on the planet will be affected. Astronomers have a unique view of space and are able to see it very clearly from Antarctica. Biologists have a chance to learn more about the animals that inhabit the coastal areas of this frozen land. Botanists study the plant life to understand how it can live in such a harsh environment, and geologists study the Earth to learn more about how it was formed. There are even psychologists who study how people behave when they live and work together in such a remote location. Tourists in Antarctica can damage scientific research and hurt the environment. When tourist groups come here, they take us away from our research. Our work is difficult, and some of our projects can be damaged by such simple mistakes as opening the wrong door or bumping into a small piece of equipment. In addition, tourists in Antarctica can also hurt the environment. Members of Greenpeace, one of the world's leading environmental organizations, complain that tourists leave trash on beaches and disturb the plants and animals. In a place as frozen as Antarctica, it can take 100 years for a plant to grow back, and tourists can easily damage penguin eggs. Oil spills are another problem caused by tourism. Oil spills not only kill penguins, but can also destroy scientific projects. The need to protect Antarctica from tourists becomes even greater when we consider the fact that there is no government here. Antarctica belongs to no country. Who is making sure that the penguins, plants, and sea are safe? No one is responsible. In fact, we scientists are only temporary visitors ourselves. It is true that the number of tourists who visit Antarctica each year is small compared to the number of those who visit other places. However, these other places are inhabited by local residents and controlled by local governments. They have an interest in protecting their natural environments. Who is concerned about the environment of Antarctica? The scientists, to be sure, but not necessarily the tour companies that make money from sending people south. If we don't protect Antarctica from tourism, there may be serious consequences for us all. We might lose the results of scientific research projects. It's possible that these results could teach us something important about the causes and effects of climate change. Some fragile plants and animals might die and disappear forever. This could damage the balance of animal and plant life in Antarctica. We know from past experience that when things get unbalanced, harmful changes can occur. Clearly, Antarctica should remain a place for careful and controlled scientific research. We cannot allow tourism to bring possible danger to the planet. The only way to protect this fragile and important part of the planet is to stop tourists from traveling to Antarctica.
Very good. That brings us to the main ideas. Okay, so how did your predictions help you understand the essay? Because in the page before it, I asked you to write down some of your predictions about when the scientist says, I feel Antarctica should be closed to tourists. Why would he or she say that? And how did that prediction help you in understanding the text? Awesome. Write that down. I'd like to discuss that with you. We continue with main ideas number 2. In the body of his essay, paragraphs 2, 3, and 4, the scientist gives 3 reasons why Antarctica should be closed to tourists. Number the reasons in the order in which they appear in reading 1. So we've got, there is no government to protect Antarctica, tourists can damage scientific research that can be conducted only in Antarctica, and tourists can damage Antarctica's environment. Can you please put that in the correct order? For that, you have to scan the text, go back and locate this information and see which one was mentioned first, second, and third. Go ahead. Great, that brings us to details. As we know, the main ideas are the broader picture of the whole text. main points. We have in every body paragraph, we have several main points which are developed by details. Yeah. Basically, the main points are the development of the main idea. Very good. Okay, so details are more specific. You're going to complete the outline with details from reading 1. So we have the first paragraph and the second. The first one, scientists learn new things in Antarctica because it is different from other places. Antarctica has ABC are the details. Number 2 is the second main point. Problems in Antarctica may have negative effects such as ABC are the details. I'd like you to pause your video to complete this, and again, the details you need to find are in the text. Scan through the text and you will find it. Remember, a general main idea covers the whole text. It's the outline of the whole text. A sub-main idea is just the outline or the main idea of one particular body paragraph. In every body paragraph, we have multiple main ideas that are the development of the main idea. And for every main point, we have a detail, which is the development of the main point. Okay, go ahead, fill this out. Okay, these statements are false or incomplete. I want you to rewrite them according to reading 1 so that they are true and or complete. Number 1, the author of the essay knows the age of Antarctic ice. That is not true. The writer of the essay is trying to find out the age of Antarctic ice. Doesn't know it yet, but wants to find it out. So please rewrite the sentences in the correct way, as in correct in content, based on the text. Again, you will have to scan the text to find the correct information and then rewrite it. Now, how do we do that? Remember, yeah, guys, we do annotating, underlining, circling, or highlighting the keywords. So in this case, the writer wants Antarctica to be closed, Antarctica closed. Scan the text for Antarctica closed and see what it says, and then write the correct sentence here. You're going to do numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 for that. You will have to pause your video to take some time to do it. Go ahead. Great. That brings us to the next part, which is making inferences. Remember, it's an educated guess about something that is not directly stated. It's indirectly stated. How to do that? We get facts, combine the facts. From there, we get a conclusion, and that will be your answer. Okay, writers sometimes suggest whether something is likely or unlikely. It's likely that or unlikely that, with directly stating it. Let's look at the example and read the explanation. Because Antarctica is the center for important scientific research, it must be preserved for this purpose. We will find out about different types of scientists that work in Antarctica. Choose the best answer. Is that likely or unlikely? Answer is A. In paragraph 2, the author tells us that Antarctica should be preserved because it is very important for scientific research. Since this is the topic sentence of the paragraph, we can guess that the paragraph will contain more information about different types of scientists working in Antarctica. After reading the text closely, we can infer or conclude that it is likely that we will find out about different types of scientists that work in Antarctica. So basically, from the topic sentence, we can already know what is going to be discussed. Or from a thesis statement at the beginning, we can know what the whole text is about. What likely is going to be discussed and unlikely. Okay, read the statements. Choose the best answer to indicate how likely or unlikely it is. Refer to the paragraphs in the parentheses. For instance, number 1. Tourists make living in Antarctica stressful. You will have to go back to paragraph 3 and see whether that is likely or unlikely to be discussed. So let's take a look at it. So the keywords: tourists, living, stressful. Making Antarctica's living stressful. Come on. Paragraph 3. That's numbers. Tourists in Antarctica can damage scientific research and hurt the environment. Ooh. This only, we can see a lot from that. You can keep reading the whole paragraph, but from there we can actually already get a lot. So looking at that part, is it likely or unlikely that living in Antarctica becomes stressful? Yeah, likely. based on the topic sentence, we can already infer that. We can already see that. Very good. Okay, you're going to do numbers 2, 3, and 4. Go ahead. So basically, just now we could already see that from a topic sentence, we can already know what a paragraph is going to be about. If you look at it globally or the whole text, then we can see like, well, if I look at the introduction of a text, especially the thesis statement, I can already know what this whole text is going to be about, what is likely to be discussed and what is unlikely to be discussed. And so it is also with the topic sentence, which is the statement of the sub main idea for that one particular body paragraph. Yeah, what did we learn today? We learned then that it is important to pay notice to our thesis statement, and it's important to pay notice to your topic sentence. Do something with it, because that's like your main idea. And then we will have several main points in the paragraph that help you develop that main idea, and details that will help you develop the main points. Remember that. Okay, so good. Expressing opinions. Okay. Let's look at the 3 statements. 1. If you were a scientist in Antarctica, how would you feel about tourists? How do you feel about tourists in Bali? And how would you feel as a scientist in Antarctica having tourists? It's a very different thing. 2. Can you find any weaknesses in the writer's opinion? What do you think is a weakness in the writer's opinion? Do you agree with everything he says? Or how much do you agree? What do you not agree with? And would you be interested in visiting Antarctica as a tourist? If you would say yes, can you tell me why? If no, can you also tell me why? Okay, write your opinion down. Make sure you do that because you'll probably forget. So next time we meet, so you will remember what it was that you wanted to say. And remember, when we express opinion, what do we use? PEEL, P-E-E-L, point, explanation, example, which is your evidence, and L for linking back to your opinion. We do structurized, giving our opinion, right? Yeah, very good. So remember that in any way, when you give your opinion, always make sure that you use PEEL. Okay, that brings us to the end of today's lesson. Okay, so good. Today what we did was reading 1 and we focused on the vocabulary. Yeah, we had 11 words, of which we found out what the meaning is, but also knowing how those words work in a sentence or in a question. We did previewing of an opinion essay. We talked about skimming, because through skimming we get the main idea. We looked at the main points of the text. We looked at the main ideas of the text. We looked at the details of the text. And we inferred probability, how likely or unlikely something is based on what is stated in the text and based on the topic sentence. Then we expressed opinion by using PEEL, P-E-E-L, point, explanation, example, evidence, and linking back. Very good. Okay, that is it for today. I will see you next time in our Zoom meeting, and I'm excited to hear your opinion about these things. Please speak up and share what's on your mind. You are awesome. I'll see you soon. God bless. Bye-bye.